This is Wolf Prince 01 and my co-host, Mike L.
Howdy, y'all!
Still being an idiot. But don't worry, he's not going to talk much during this video. This video is going to go over some of the aspects of the attributes. We're not going to go over everything about attributes, just some of the things that aren't more apparent in each attribute, as well as some key point numbers to reach.
Yeah!
First attribute we're going over is harvesting. Most of this is pretty self-explanatory. But the one thing to note is, you see on my screen there's a thing where you get a positive tactic gain bonus. This isn't unlocked from the start. This doesn't unlock until after you get to 90,000 tactic. As well as another thing to note, this is one of the stats that can be enhanced, so despite the fact it's already twice as much as what the other stats for harvesting are, it can be enhanced to even further increase its effectiveness. Then the aiming attribute, some key things to know about this is you only really ever need 100% aiming. Going past that doesn't really have any purpose because you can't get more than 10 hits. And as far as getting it lowered by engines, engines will lower aiming more than what aiming can raise itself. So to get to 100% crit chance, you need 2,572 aiming. And then, as far as how the engine actually lowers aiming, when you're fighting bosses, other people in PvP or in the virtual arena, for the person with the higher engines will lower the other person's aiming percentage. The amount it's lowered by is by 0.04 for every stat difference. Alright, we're going to skip over the piercing and plating stats, as everything about them is pretty apparent. Shield charge stat, all you really need to know about this is to get minimum repair cost for your shields, you're going to need 1,334. Then of course we're going to skip over disassembling, and engines we already went over with aiming. The fusion stat, for this stat actually has the most solid cap to it of any others. You can put points in the other stats to improve what they do, but fusion, once you hit 4,500, any extra points don't really give you anything. So the hard cap on fusion is 4,500, and that'll give you a 95% fusion ratio. Alright, next stat that actually has things to go over is construction. Construction is used for a lot of aspects in game. First off, whenever you build either a weapon or a module, the cost can be lowered by your construction, all the way down to half the default cost. And this includes the black cost for building items. Now to get the minimum cost for actually building something, all you need is 1,667 construction. Then of course, when you're building modules, the more construction you have, the better stats up to that module's maximum. It's also used for upgrading and building stations. To get the minimum upgrade cost for upgrading stations, you need 6,500 construction, and to be able to build all 20 stations, you're going to need 6,650 construction. The repair stat also has a lot of uses to it. First of all is of course repairing your ship's hull. Now this has the exact same cap as lowering the cost for repairing your shields of 1,334. Then of course for repairing your stations and your fleet. The repair costs on these can actually get up really high, so it's important to actually have a good amount of repair. To get the minimum repair cost for these, you need 8,000 points. And then of course for upgrading modules, repair stat is used. For the 100% chance to actually upgrade a module with a normal upgrade is 6,467 points you'll need. If you're doing black upgrades, then all you need is 5,467. And then of course with that, to lower the black cost, you need enhancing. And to get the minimum cost for that, you need 3,333 enhancing. The accelerator stat's pretty obvious what it does, but a lot of people don't understand exactly where their actual jump cost comes from. Your jump cost is essentially your hull times 0.3, and that'll give you what your actual jump cost is. For stabilizer, we're not going to go over the drain part, but we are going to go over something a lot of people get confused about, where it says reduces positive weapon reload times. Now, a lot of people think this is based on an individual weapon basis, but it's not. It actually only works on positive reload times after everything is calculated. So, according to the reload time, you can see I have a negative 75-second reload with this set on. And you see in the parentheses it's negative 75 seconds, then minus 0 seconds. That's because I already have a negative reload time. The stabilizer isn't actually reducing anything. If we go to a ship that actually has an overall positive reload time and look at this, the default reload time on this is 34.7 seconds, and it's actually being lowered by 26.2 seconds by the stabilizer. So as you can see, it only affects positive reload times on a total weapon basis, not an individual. That's pretty much going to be it for the parts of the attributes we're going to highlight on. Now we're actually just going to go into how to actually get attribute points. One of your main sources of attribute points is actually going to be your module sets. Now this, of course, is pretty self-explanatory. You get modules with attributes you want, upgrade them, and they'll give you a large number of the attributes you're looking for a set. And then, our ways to get them is through Texan updates. Now, some people get confused about these two, but they're actually different things. Technologies are player-created stat point bonuses that come with a story that everyone gets. Everyone gets the exact same amount at each level and the exact same ones. There's no randomization to this. Technologies are going to be one of your best sources for stats early on, as the research time on them starts out really low and give really good attributes. The only thing is, you have to actually find them by either doing pirate fights or by harvesting, or analyzing monuments. As technologies get to higher levels, the times will increase substantially to a base time of about 8 hours per +1 attribute. Of course, this is capped by how many are in game at the time and how many you have actually found at the time. Updates, on the other hand, have no official cap to them, but the time increases substantially once you actually get past the point where your science can reduce it. But these stats are not random. You get to pick which ones you want to update, and they're more unique to you, where technologies are actually more of a base stat for every player.
You're unique, y'all. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Also, the cap's 84 hours.
Missions can sometimes give you attribute points as a mission reward. Now, any stats you get from this are random, but they count as technologies, so they don't add to your updates time. Other ways to actually get them is through caravans. Sometimes caravans will offer stats for either black capsules or for regular capsules. Other ways to get attribute points is with power improvements. There are actually 4 categories to choose from, and you get one update, which is +2 attribute points, and one randomly of one of the 4 things in each category. The cost on this is actually based on your total updates you have. It only costs 2 power improvements for one update, from all the way up to 1,750 updates. And then it's 3 power improvements for an update all the way up to 2,000. Then 5 power improvements for an update all the way up to 2,500. And then of course 8 power improvements for an update all the way up to 3,000 updates. Stats from using the power improvements are counted as actual updates, so they will actually increase the timer for getting extra updates. Another thing that gives you extra attribute points and counts as an update is every Tuesday they have the Tuesday Tech Catch-Up, which lets you buy actual updates in specific categories for black capsules. Now of course this is kind of expensive, and it gets more costly the more updates you already have. Other ways to get attribute points is when you either clear galaxies or clear asteroids, you get galaxy knowledge, and when you hit certain tiers, not only does it improve things like your tactic gain and harvesting ability in that galaxy, but you also get a free random attribute point. It'll be in your system messages, and you just click on it and you get one free random attribute. This just counts as a text, so it will not affect your update timers. Then, of course, another way to get attributes is through your crew. As you get crew and upgrade them, they will give you a small amount of attribute points. Now, this is quite expensive in colony points for what you actually get. So it's not much, but it is a way to actually get a few extra points. And then, of course, the last couple things to get attribute points from is early level ships don't have bonus attribute points, but higher level ships will have one attribute to them, and you can actually raise the amount of the attribute you get from it with ionizations. And then, of course, the last thing is your fleet. Now, when you get fleet, they will give you a random attribute or random set of attributes. The attributes cannot be enhanced on these, but you can always scrap a fleet and get a new one to try for better attributes.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
No, nobody's coming back after this video.
And you get pretty ladies on the side of your screen.
I'm not putting that in.
But I masturbate to them. You can't just cut that out.
Then, of course, another way to get it. Get
it in, y'all.
But if I go to a set that actually has, let's see, I'm just gonna have to go to hellos.
But he says, but
the accelerator stats, of course, pretty obvious what it does. But a lot of people don't understand where their actual jump costs come from.
Come from. Oh yeah.
When you clear a galaxy or do harvesting, you get galaxy knowledge. When you hit 13. Other ways to get free attribute points is when you get galaxy knowledge. At least I didn't click the button.
Don't mess this up.
I know. Other ways to get free attribute points is when you do pirate fighting. I need a teleprompter. Michael, build me a teleprompter. Then the arrow.
I told you I made one. No.
I don't think I need to state that. I mean, it's not even anything about the game or that.
It's already well known.
Okay. I'm gonna tell them your love of ponies. Oh yeah, that's actually useful.
Can't take that out now. If I find Domingo, I'm gonna kill that motherfucker. I'm gonna slap him.
Is that the fly?
That's a fly.
See, why did you name a fly?
He's my enemy. You can't just have an unknown named enemy. So I named him Domingo.
You're really that pathetic. You need to have a fly as your enemy. It's the only thing you're on par with, isn't it?
If he wants his name changed, he can tell me. Is that Domingo? If I find Domingo.
Alright.
Domingo! I found. We're no strangers to love.
Okay. The rules, and so do I.
Team Doggy!
Really?
Since I missed my my harvest thing, I was actually masturbating, but I missed my harvest story. So the story is, I made a tech called Farmer Terry. Then I learned harvesting wasn't about harvesting or farming; it was about mining. So just think about harvesting as mining, not farming. Fun is back, okay?
You're like gonna be my entire outtakes, you know that? I'm glad I can edit this.
Great start. Great start.
You got your cowboy hat on? So you're ready now, you got the cowboy hat.
I am.
Why do I have you in any of these videos again?
I'm the comic relief.
I don't need comic relief.